हरे कृष्णा। धन्यवाद प्रणाम डियर डिवोटीज। जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। हरि बोल। थैंक यू टू पवन प्रभु जी, मीनाक्षी मोहिनी, आरती माता जी for leading the chanting. Okay. मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातम् अहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणम्। ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Okay, let's continue with our prayer of the week. Hari Hari Bifale. Anybody would like to try singing today? Aarti Mataji, you want to try? No.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji, I will try. Prabhuji, can you sing first line?
Yeah, tell me about the simple tune. Hari Hari Bifale Janama Gonainu Manusha Janama Paya Radha Krishna Nabhajiya Janiya Shuniya Vishakhainu.
Thank you,
You can sing
Prabhuji.
along.
Ji, thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare
Hari
Krishna.
Hari Vifale Janama Gunanaino Manusya Janama Paya Radha Krishna Nabhajiya Janiya Shuniya Bishakhainu Golokera Premadhana Hari Nama Sankirtana Ratina Jana Milokinite Samsare Vishanale Divanishi Hayajale Churaite na koino upai. Sorry, Prabhuji, I think I am going out
No,
of the
that's okay.
tune.
I can sing along with you.
Ji, Prabhuji.
Rajendra Nanda
Rajendra Nandana Jai
Ji
Sachi
Shachi
Sutta
Sutta
Hoilo Sai
Hoy Balaram
Balarama Hoilo Nitai
Nitai Dina
Dina
Hina
Hina Jata Jila Hari
Hari
Nami
Name
Uttara
Utarilo
Tara
Tara
Sakshi
Sakshi Jagai Madhai
Madai Ha Prabhu Nanda Sutta Vrishabhanu Sutta Chita
करुणा
Bhoj
करो हे हे
Bhoj
करो नरोत्तम
Narottama Das Koi
कोए नाथे
Nateli Horanga Pare
तुम्हारी
Tomarina
किया
Kyache Amara
हरे कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna
हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम
Hare Rama Hare
हरे
Rama
राम 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 हरे
Rama
हरे।
Hare.
हरे
Sorry,
कृष्णा।
Prabhuji, I messed up with the.
नहीं नहीं, that's good. Thank you so
Sorry.
much for singing with so much bhav and devotion. श्री नरोत्तम दास ठाकुर की जय। जगत गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। श्री प्रार्थना की जय। Okay, we can read the second purport today. So, anybody would like to try reading? Prabhupada is giving a good class here. Anyone want to try reading?
I can read, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Vinamata ji.
Hare
Yes, please.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
December 26, 1968, Los Angeles, California, USA. Pradyumana, Hari Hari Bipale Janama. Prabhupada, Go Nainu, Go Yenu. Bengali phonetic spelling sometimes does not match the BBT standard dialectics used for Bengali, etc. notes. Pradyumana, Go Wanu. Prabhupada, Go Nainu. Pradyumana, Go Nainu. Prabhupada, Bipale Janama Go Nainu. Hari Hari Bipale Janama Go Nainu. Pradyumana, Go Nainu, Go Nainu. Prabhupada, yes, so shall I give the meaning also. Pradyumana, afterwards, I guess. Oh, this is the first verse. Hari Hari Bipale Janama Go Nainu. Prabhupada, Janama Go Nainu. This is the first line. Hari Hari Bipale Janama Go Nainu. The next line, Manushya Janama Paya. Manushya. Pradyumana, Manushya. Prabhupada, Janama Janama Paya Paya. Pradyumana, Paya. Prabhupada, Manushya Janama Paya Radha Krishna Na Bhajiya. Next line, Radha Krishna, Radha. Radha Krishna, Krishna. Na Bhajiya. Na Bhajiya. Bhajiya, na Bhajiya. Next line, Janiya Janiya. Janiya. Pradyuman, Ja. Prabhupada, Niya. Suniya, Suniya. Janiya, Suniya, Bisa, Bisa, Bisa. Pradyumana, Bisa. Prabhupada, Bisa, Kainu, Kainu. Hari Hari Bipale Janama Go Nainu, Manushya Janama Paya, Radha Krishna Na Bhajeya, Jainu Shuneya, Bisa Kainu. The meaning is Hari Hari, my lord, Bipale, uselessly, Janama, life, Gonainu, spent up. I have uselessly spent up my life. Why? Because Manushya Janama Paya, I got this human form of life, Manushya Janama Paya, Radha Krishna na bhajeya, but I did not engage myself in the loving transcendental service of Radha and Krishna. Radha Krishna na bhajeya, Janiya Suniya, Bisaya Kainu. Willingly, purposefully, I have drunk poison. Hari Hari Bipale Janama Go Nainu. Pradimana, to tell it for each word. Janiya means, Prabhupada, Janiya means knowingly, and Sunya means hearing. Pradimana, hearing? Prabhupada, yes, two kinds of knowledge are there. You can practically understand by experiment. This is called Janiya. And another knowledge is by hearing from authoritative source. This is also knowledge. Janiya Suniya, by hearing process and by experimental knowledge in both ways, I know that this human form of life is meant for engaging in the loving service of Radha and Krishna. But I did not do that. That means purposefully I have drunk poison. I have committed suicide. Then Golokera Prema Dhana. Golokera Prema. Prema, Dhana, Dhana. Golokera Prema Dhana. That means this chanting Hare Krishna is imported from the transcendental abode of Goloka, Harinam Sankirtana. This chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. This is not material vibration. This sound is what is called captured, just like we capture sound. The sound is in the air. So this sound, there are different layers of air, but this sound is in the highest layer, in the transcendental, spiritual layer beyond this material world. From that sound, it is captured. It requires strong machines to capture that sound. Golokera, Premadhana, Harinama, Sankirtana, Pradyumana, Harinam San, Prabhupada, Harinama, Sankirtana. Sankirtana, Harinam Sankirtana, Ratina Janamila, Ratina na Janmila, Janamila, Ratina Janamila Kena, Kena Tai. It is so sublime, transcendental, and it is imported from the transcendental world, Goloka Vrindavan. Unfortunately, I do not know why I did not get any attachment for such nice thing. Ratina Janamila Kena Tai. Tai means in that. Bishya Bisanale. Bisanale. Bisaya. Bisa. 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 Nale. Nale. Pradyumna. Bisa. Prabhupada. Bisa. Bisa. Nale. Nale. Bisa. Nale. The blazing fire of poison. The material enjoyment is blazing fire of poison. Just like a person, if he's put into the blazing fire, he's burnt into ashes. Similarly, simply by thinking, how shall I enjoy this? How shall I enjoy this materially? This is just like blazing fire of poison. So I am suffering always. Bisaya bisanale diba nishi hiya jwale. Diba nishi. Diba nishi. Diba nishi. Diba means day. Nishi means night. So day and night I am in this blazing fire. Pradyumna, Neshi. How do you spell that? Prabhupada, Nishi, Nisi. Pradyumna, Diba, Nishi, Diba, Nishi. Prabhupada, Hiya, Jwale, Jwale. Pradyumna, Jwale. Prabhupada, Jwale. Diba, Nishi, Hiya, Jwale. The heart is burning always day and night. Tarivare. Tarivare means to get out of it. Pradyumna, can you spell that again? Prabhupada, Tarivare, Tarivare. Pradyumna, Vire. Prabhupada, Re, Tarivare. Pradyumna, Tarivare. Prabhupada, no, na kainu. Na kainu, na kainu. Upaya. Tarivare means to get out of it. Na kainu did not do. Na means not. Kainu did not do. Na kainu upaya. Upaya means. That means if anyone wants to get out of this blazing fire of poison of material enjoyment, then he has to take to this Harinam Sankirtana, this chanting. This is the only method. So I did not do that. I engaged myself in this Vishya Vishanale, this material enjoyment. Therefore, my life has been uselessly spoiled. Tarivare na kainu upaya. The next line, Rajendra Nandanayai. Rajendra Nandan. Nandana, yay. Prabhupada, Jia. Pradyumna, Jia. Prabhupada, Jay. Rajendra Nandana means Nandana, yay. Sachi Suta. Haila. Say. Rajendra Nandana, yay. Sachi Suta, Haila, say. Balarama, Haila, Nitai. Balarama, Haila. He, Haila, Nitai, Haila, Nitai. Balarama, Haila, Nitai. And this means Vrajendra Nandana Yai, the Supreme Personality who appears as the King of Nanda. The same Supreme Personality, Krishna, has now appeared as the son of Mother Sachi. And Balarama, Haila means has become Nitai. Lord Nityananda, formerly the personality of Godhead, who was known as Balarama, has now become Lord Nityananda. So what is their business? Papi tapi yata chilo. Papi tapi yata. Yata chilo. Chila. Pradyumna, chila. Prabhupada, yes. Papi tapi yato chilo. Hari nama udharilo. Hari, name, udharila. That means these two personalities of Godhead, they simply by distributing the transcendental chanting, Hare Krishna has reclaimed all conditioned and sinful souls. Papi tapi yata chilo, Hari nam udharilo. And the concrete example for this activity is Jagai and Madhai, the two brothers known as Jagai Madhai. Jagai and Madhai. Papi tapi yata chilo, Hari nama udarilo. Tara sakshi, tar sakshi. Sakshi, Jagai and Madhai. And the last verse is Haha Prabhu Nanda Sutta. Haha. Prabhu Nanda Sutta. My dear Lord Krishna, the son of King Nanda, Vrishabhanu Sutta Yuta. Vrishabhanu Sutta Srut. Pradyumna, VS Vrisha. Prabhupada, Vrishabhanu, Bhanu. Pradyumna, Bhanu. Prabhupada, Rishabhanu Sutta, Sutta, Sutta Yuta, Yuta. That means, my Lord Krishna, the son of King Nanda, you are now along with Radharani, the daughter of King Rishabhanu. So both of you are here. So I am Narottam Dasa Thakur. Narottama. Narottam Dasa, Dasa. Dasa kahe, kahe. I am Narottam Dasa. I am placing my appeal onto you. Narottam Dasa ka na theli ho. Na theli ho. Thelia. Na theli ho. Ranga, ranga, ranga paye, paye. Na theli ho, ranga paye. Tuma bina, tumi, tumi bina, vina. Pradyumana, tume, Prabhupada. Tume, tumi, vina. Vina के आछे 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 की आछे प्रद्युमन च प्रभुपाद हे प्रद्युमन अच प्रभुपाद no आछे amar amar. So who else is there beyond yourself? So don't kick me out by your lotus feet. Please accept me because I have no other shelter than yourself. Is that updated April 1st, 2009? Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
जय मीनू माता जी की जय। प्रभुपाद जी
So
हंस रहे
sorry.
होंगे अभी, बोलेंगे प्रभुपाद, this is how he had to deal with everybody. So yes.
Yeah, how merciful he was, and how blessed Pradyumna Prabhu and all those devotees were to learn every single word by word, to get there. This is beyond comprehension. Love it. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
And Minu Mataji, the way you were reading, we enjoyed it.
Yeah, I was enjoying every sentence she was saying. Almost like Prabhupada is sitting there, and now he's smiling after hearing Mataji speak. She's just repeating what he did, 60 years ago. So yes, and this is where we see again Prabhupada's mercy, like you were saying. Like you can imagine, like this one song. Imagine, he has written 18,000 verses of Srimad Bhagavatam or whatever, and then 700, from Bhagavad Gita, and then so many other books, and word for word, right? Every word he has given us for the meaning of each word, and then he has given the transcription, the translation, the purports. Like how much of compassion, just cannot. It's like he's saying, this is coming from a different layer of air, spiritual world. This compassion we don't see in material world. Nobody will have so much of patience to explain each and every word, after verse after verse after verse after verse, and not just do that. During the day, he was waking up in the middle of the night, 1 a.m., 1:30 a.m., and then doing all this in the night. For what? Just because he had to fulfill the order of his spiritual master and to give this, unlimited compassion to everybody in the world. Like we read yesterday, he built a house where the whole world can live if we choose to. But unfortunately, we are so materially struck that we have no taste. At least I'm speaking for myself, but yeah, many people in the world, they don't take to this process because they don't appreciate. We have to have the attitude of gratitude. And yes, Prabhupada, this, like yesterday, we saw that video, and the matchless gifts outside. There's like a laundry mat. Like Prabhupada says, if you want real knowledge, we have to study the Shastras. You have to hear from saintly people. So, like Prabhupada used to say, and they used to, the material world used to complain that, we are brainwashing. It was good that, the matchless gifts was right next to the laundry mat, maybe. So, like Prabhupada says, we are washing. Yes, we are brainwashing. We are brainwashing because we are cleaning all the dirt that is already there inside the terrible minds and the hearts. It has so much of dirt. So, we are cleaning that. So it was nice that the matchless gifts was right next to the laundry mat, and Prabhupada is cleansing the consciousness by these spiritual holy names of the Lord. Okay, let's continue. Chapter 19, Planting the Seed. A storefront turned temple and a two-room apartment transformed into the Guru's residence and study, but it was complete nonetheless. The temple room was his kirtan and lecture hall. The lecture was always serious and formal. Prabhupada was lenient during kirtan. At first, Keith had cooked only for the Swami. He had mastered the art of cooking dal, rice, and sabji in the Swami's three-tiered boiler, and usually there had been enough for one or two guests as well. But soon more guests had begun to gather, and Prabhupada had told Keith to increase the quantity, abandoning the small three-tiered cooker, until he was cooking for a dozen hungry men. When some devotee found something too chilly, Prabhupada would give milk with rice and bananas to get relief from it. Prabhupada spoke with guests up until 6, when he would go to take his bath. After his bath, he would come into the front room. He would sit on a mat facing his picture of the Panchatattva, and after putting a few drops of water in his left palm, from a small metal spoon and bowl, he would rub a lump of Vrindavan clay in the water, making a wet paste. He would then apply the clay markings of Vaishnav Tilak, dipping into the yellowish paste in his left hand with the ring finger of his right on his forehead, and then he marked 11 other places on his body. We see here Prabhupada's putting his tilak. After his bath, he would rub a lump of Vrindavan clay in the water, making a wet paste. He would then apply the clay markings of Vaishnav Tilak, dipping into the yellowish paste in his left hand with the ring finger of his right on his forehead and 11 other places on his body. Yes, this temple, this body is a temple of the Lord, so that's why we decorate it. Even this tilaka, actually, I heard one of the Maharajas was saying the tilak also represents, like we know, the tilak represents Radha and Krishna, and then the lotus, or at the bottom of the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna is the tulsi leaf. And if you also look at it the other way, like, just flip it in a mirror, it is also like the top of like a gumbaj of the temple, right? So how the temple's gumbaj is here, and then this is like the temple's, so it looks exactly like a temple. So that is why this body is the temple of the Lord, and we decorate it with the tilaka. Okay, Prabhupada walked across the scenic acreage, looking at the distant mountains and forests, and Keith walked beside him. Prabhupada spoke of how Dr. Mishra had offered him the island in the middle of the ashram's lake to build a temple on. What kind of temple were you thinking of? Keith asked. How big? Prabhupada smiled and gestured across the horizon. As big as the whole horizon? Keith laughed. Yes, Prabhupada replied. Regarding dreams, Srila Prabhupada said that dreams are simply functions of the mind. Dreams of the spiritual master are of spiritual significance. A few Anand Ashram men and women came by. One woman was wearing a sari. Prabhupada turned to the other woman and said, "A woman who wears a sari looks very feminine." Well, said Wally, Swami never claimed to be God or an incarnation, but he says that he is a servant of God, teaching love of God. With his arms upraised, Prabhupada would walk forward, swinging his body from side to side, left foot to right side, right foot to left side, in time with the 1-2-3 rhythm. He had shown them the step in regular time and in a slow half-time rhythm. Keith had called it the Swami step, as if it were a new ballroom dance. When someone asked whom one should meditate on, Srila Prabhupada said one should meditate on Krishna. The sun rose over the mountains, streaking the morning sky above the lake with colors. Wally and Keith were walking around the grounds saying to Prabhupada how beautiful it all was. We are not so concerned with beautiful scenery, said Prabhupada. We are concerned with the beautiful one who has made the beautiful scenery. When someone asked, is it better for spiritual realization to meditate in the mountains? Prabhupada replied, no, you can meditate anywhere. Just chant Hare Krishna. Prabhupada announced the next day was Janmashtami, to be spent chanting, reading, fasting, and discussing Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada announced that there would be initiation next day. There were 11 initiates, and all took a vow of chanting a minimum of 16 rounds every day. The initiates tried falteringly to follow his pronunciation of the words of the purification mantra, which they had never heard before. Then he gave the translation: unpurified or purified, or even having passed through all situations, one who remembers the lotus-eyed Supreme Personality of Godhead is cleansed within and without. Prabhupada gave each one a strand of neck beads, which he said were like dog collars, identifying the devotee as Krishna's dog. Swamiji began the fire sacrifice for the initiation ceremony by sprinkling the colored dyes across the mound of the earth before him. Each new disciple took a handful of the mixture to offer into the fire. He then began to recite Sanskrit prayers, asking everyone please to repeat them, each prayer ending with the responsive chanting of the word Swaha 3 times. And with Swaha, the initiates would toss some of the sesame barley mixture into the fire. Swamiji kept pouring butter, piling up wood, and chanting more prayers until the mound was blazing. The prayers kept coming, and the butter kept pouring, and the fire got larger, and the room got hotter. Very nice. Swamiji began the fire sacrifice for the initiation ceremony. Swamiji kept pouring butter, piling up wood, and chanting more prayers until the mound was blazing. The prayers kept coming, and the butter kept pouring, and the fire got larger, and the room got hotter. Swamiji smiled broadly, rose from his seat before the sacrificial fire, the blazing tongue of Vishnu, and began clapping his hands and chanting Hare Krishna. Placing one foot before the other and swaying from side to side, he began to dance before the fire. His disciples joined him in dancing and chanting, and the smoke abated. He had each disciple touch his beads to the feet of Lord Chaitanya and the Panchatattva picture on the table, and finally he allowed the windows open. As the ceremony was finished and the air in the apartment was clearing, Swamiji began to laugh. There was so much smoke, I thought they might have to call the fire brigade. Prabhupada was happy. He arranged that prasadam be distributed to all the devotees and guests. The fire, the prayers, the vows, and everyone chanting Hare Krishna had all created an auspicious atmosphere. Finally, most of the disciples went home to their apartments, leaving their spiritual master to clean up after the initiation ceremony. In the back room of his apartment, Prabhupada was usually alone, especially in the early morning hours, 2, 3, and 4 a.m., when almost no one else was awake. In these early hours, his room was silent, and he worked alone in the intimacy of his relationship with Krishna. He would sit on the floor behind his suitcase desk, worshipping Krishna by typing the translations and purports of his Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishna. Okay, let's pause here. Haribol. Yes, so we see again and again the same theme, early days. Prabhupada was all by himself, but yeah, already 11 initiates were now his disciples. And again, we see how Prabhupada is doing so much at the age of 70, 71, all by himself. Even now, you see, everybody has left and he has to kind of clean up after them. So just again, that same mood of unlimited, just completely, you cannot define, it's inconceivable, right? Achintya Shakti jo hai Bhagwan ki Achintya Shakti, it's almost the same thing because he's such, all these pure devotees of the Lord, like I said, they are going around all over the world, all over the planet Earth, and so many of these millions and millions of universes trying to distribute this mercy of the Lord. So Achintya Shakti, the Shakti Vesh avatar, and yes, Achintya mercy, that even though he's 71 years of age and having to do all this by himself and with no physical support, still he's doing it because, like we say, his consciousness is not material consciousness, not Manhattan consciousness, but it is consciousness, Madan Mohan consciousness. Hey, the Madan Mohan ji is our Sambandha, Sambandha Adideva, Sanatan Goswami's personal deity, Madan Mohan ji, help us establish our relationship with Krishna. So that is where Prabhupada's consciousness is what he was always completely attached to the lotus feet of the Lord and a spiritual master. So for him, this was no difficulty. Even at the age of 71, for us, even at the age of 40, 50, we have to do so much. It just becomes so hard. But yeah, that is where the energy is coming, the spiritual potency is coming, that he's able to do all that, because like he says again, Acharya, we say Acharya teach by Achar. They don't just do prachar. They teach by their Achar how to live, how to love. And like Prabhupada was teaching yesterday also, like you have to love your spiritual master. It's a relationship of love, not of force. It's something that comes organically, voluntarily from the heart. So again, he's showing the same attitude of gratitude, that even though these disciples are coming and they're initiated, but yeah, still they've not realized that it's the mode of service. Prabhupada is doing it all by himself, but that is where he won the hearts of his disciples over a period of time, as we see later on after he left this mortal planet, and how his disciples have so sincerely, so lovingly carried out the instructions of their spiritual master, that it doesn't matter physically he was not there, but how much they have done and contributed and sacrificed after he has left shows how much Prabhupada kind of gave them the love directly into their hearts, and with that love they have been able to sustain and show us now with their achar that now we can take that same love, even just this one drop of love is more than millions and millions of oceans combined. So that is the beauty of Krishna consciousness, which is completely different from material consciousness. Yeah, I was thinking of this pastime of the lawyer also yesterday. I think we were talking with the lawyer and I was remembering one pastime, funny pastime, that yeah, while we are in this world, like all these Prabhupada disciples, now we are all here for just few years, but if we serve sincerely, if we follow the instructions sincerely, then yes, we will go back home, back to Godhead. But we will actually join our spiritual masters and engage in the eternal service of Shri Shri Radha Krishna. But again, the time is very limited. So when the time is very limited, like one funny pastime of lawyers, they would say, like in India, Prabhupada would give this example. He'd say that some in India, especially, like the lawyers will send notice, right? They'll send notice from the High Court or from the whatever the court of justice is in the country, and then they will, like, if you have to evacuate some building, they will send this notice. So this lawyers, that is their business. And Prabhupada is saying, but the lawyer once, was funnily complaining to Yamaraj when Yamaraj came that, okay, your time is up. Come on, let's go now. So, or Yamadutas came, and then he says, being a lawyer, he says that, oh, this is not valid. You have to give me notice first, because his profession is all about giving notice. So he says, so he tells to Yamadut and Yamaraj also, why didn't you give me notice? In my profession, we give notice 15 days, 30 days. So then Yamaraj says, okay, you want notice? You were already given notice, when your black hairs were turning gray, when your teeth were falling apart, when your skin was being wrinkled, all these were notices that we were receiving. So as we are aging, we are getting notices by Yamaraj and Yamaduta, but unfortunately, we don't recognize those notices. But yes, despite all the old age, yes, we see the devotee of the Lord is till the last minute. He was preaching, he was transcribing, he was translating these purports, Bhaktivedanta purports. He was giving instructions to his disciples. So it's not about the material age, but the spiritual age. And in the spiritual world, of course, we are ageless. So Prabhupada is teaching all of this so nicely in just 10, 11 years. Yesterday we celebrated Ekadashi, and we saw how Prabhupada in just 11 months. So Ekadashi, 11, number 11 is also very auspicious. In just 11 months, he created this ISKCON, incorporated ISKCON. And in 11 years that he was there, from pretty much after 1977, from 1966 when he established ISKCON, 11 years, he gave us so much that this 11 years also, like Prabhupada said yesterday to Howard, that yes, this is ripening for millions of lifetimes. It is so much that this is not something that can be accomplished in one life. So much he has given us that we can read and read and read and reread, and to our heart's content. And still, the glories of the Lord cannot be explained, cannot be exhausted. Even Balaramji, with Anantashesh, like he says, with thousands and thousands of heads, he cannot get to the end of the Lord's glories. So similarly, Lord's pure devotees are also like that. We cannot, how much ever we glorify Srila Prabhupada, it will not be sufficient, it will not be complete. Okay, any other thoughts, comments, reflections?
Well, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
I was remembering the initiation ceremony when Guru Maharaj was in Detroit in 2021. I met him for the first time while reading the Prabhupada giving, while reading that Prabhupada was giving initiation to his disciple. So I was remembering that exactly the mantras and Swaha Swaha after Swaha Swaha, people were disciples were offering uh, in the Havan, and Yeah, I was remembering that day. That was a very, I was very fortunate that I met Guru Maharaj, but unfortunately I couldn't meet him after that. So yeah.
Yeah.
And whose deities were you were saying Madan Mohan? Oh, I skipped the
So we
name.
have
You were
three Sanatan, we have our Goswamis, right? So Sanatan Goswami, who used to worship Madan Mohanji. Rup Goswami, तो there are संबंध अभिधेय and प्रयोजन. संबंध जो हम establish करते हैं अपना relationship with Krishna, so that is Madan Mohan ji. Then Abhideya
okay.
is the process of bhakti, how to execute devotional service, that is given by Shri Rupa Goswami, and that is Abhideya, and that is the deities for those are Shri Radha Govind Dev ji. And then Prayojan is the what is the ultimate goal. So we establish a relationship, we follow the path of devotional service, process of devotional service, and then the ultimate goal is to attain love of pure love of Godhead, and that is Prayojan. Prayojan means goal. So the goal is that attaining love of God, and that is for
Again, love
the
of
deity
Radha
for
Krishna.
the deity for those are Shri Radha Gopinath ji. So those are the three primary deities of Sambandha, Avideya, and Prayojan. SAP. We have the SAP in this material world, SAP company, but this is the SAP of the spiritual spiritual world. Yes.
Okay.
Sambandha, Videya, and Prayojan. So Madan Mohan ji, Govind Dev ji, and Gopinath ji. Radha Gopinath.
Gopinath. Thank you so much,
All three
Prabhuji.
are there in Jaipur right now. So
Okay.
Madan Mohan ji, the original deities, and then Madan Mohan ji actually they were there in Jaipur, but then the princess when she was married in Karoli, so they went to Karoli, so now they are in Karoli Dham. That's very close. It's about 3 hours, 3.5 hours from Jaipur. Then Govind Dev ji are in Jaipur right now, and Shri Radha Gopinath ji also in Jaipur. So those are the original deities, and then the Pratibhu deities, the replica, are in Vrindavan. But again, they're non-different. Even Vrindavan, if you go today, the temples are there, but they were because the Mughals were attacking that time. The deities were moved to Jaipur by the Raja Jai Singh that time. So yeah. So if you go to Jaipur, you can take darshan of these beautiful deities.
Hopefully, Prabhuji. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Anything else, Nalin Prabhu? You're saying something?
Big horrible to Minu Mataji first. Nicely read, just like it was a conversation between Srila Prabhupada and the disciple, right? So I liked it. It was leading.
Your voice is not very clear, Prabhu. I don't know if you're speaking away from your phone or it's
How
very.
can I improve it? I'm sorry.
Oh, it's like it dropped. Okay. All right. Anything else from anybody? Amit Prabhu, good to see you joining.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Everything okay with your Kroger journey?
Yeah, Prabhu, I'm good by the grace of the Supreme
I
Lord.
saw you
Thank you.
yesterday, not yesterday, day before yesterday. I was in the lobby and you were walking outside with your Bluetooth. I said, okay, hopefully Amit Prabhu is going to listen to some kirtan or katha.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes.
Yeah, is it audible, Prabhu?
Sorry.
Okay.
Yes,
Is
yes.
it audible?
Now it's audible, Nalin Prabhu.
No, I
Yes.
said big horrible to Minu Mataji. Today's reading is so nice.
Yes. Hari Hari Bol to Minu Mataji. Yes.
Yeah, and you said two things is like the notice. Notice is really interesting. Like, yeah, we get notice from the nature, or we can say from Yamdut or from God that once our hair becomes gray, right, and looking all the sufferings around us, even though when we lose our senses, like teeth falling and not able to hear properly, all these are symptoms like, okay, we have to leave this world, material world. So we have to be well prepared. So that is two things very important. And the third one is like, as you said, preaching, having knowledge and preaching is maybe so easy, but with love is very important for any, those who are not practicing spirituality or devotional service. For them, preaching with love is very important, not only preaching.
Yes. Yeah, because we have to develop that love ourselves, because what we have is what we can give. So yes, we have to make all the endeavors to get to that. And again, the love of the Lord is unlimited. Even if you get one drop of that nectar, then we can share unlimitedly with others. And how we can develop that love is by this simple process, like Prabhupada says again and again. Like yesterday also I was saying that same point that Prabhupada said to his disciple, and I will share that maybe in the reading group, when he says that, why have I given all these books? And he says, to understand the philosophy, to learn the philosophy. He says, no, so that I can convince you to chant the holy names of the Lord. So the whole point is to chant the holy names of the Lord, because Salim Meenakshi Muni also yesterday, like all acharyas, if you hear katha after katha after katha, and ultimately our essence comes down to chanting of the holy name. This is the solution for all the problems. So if we have to cleanse our hearts first, so that we can develop that love, so that then we can give that love to others. To develop that love, we have to cleanse our heart. And to cleanse our heart, we have to get rid of these anarthas, and that can only and only and only happen by this one medicine. This medicine for this day and age is chanting of the holy names. So while we chant in the morning, that is good. That is great, actually, best to do in the morning. The 16, like Prabhupada said to these initiates, 16 is the minimum, right? But we should not stop with just that. Just, okay, now my quota is done for the day. No, while we are at work, like I was just telling Amit Prabhu when I saw him putting his Bluetooth and going out, like during lunch hours, we do that. Just hear Krishna Katha, or when you're going out on a walk, like I take 15-20 minutes walk in my office. Just go out. In the 15 minutes, you can keep chanting the holy names while you're walking. Right, so very simple thing, and that will build practice as we keep doing that. Then when you are sitting at work also, like Amrit Prabhu was saying, like you're sitting at your desk and you're working, in every 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you can at least say one time Hare Krishna, or at least, and if you're not able to say even Hare Krishna and the whole Maha Mantra, just Hare 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 Krishna, just say Krishna Krishna, whatever, Krishna 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 Hare, whatever prayers, there's so many prayers. But build that practice. If we build that practice, then the remembrance will start happening. Not just the morning, this 2 hours that we are doing, but the whole goal should be that we are preparing our consciousness for the remaining 22 hours of the day, so that this 2 hours will be the best, and this 2 hours we can get the best reward and best benefits, so that we can make progress quickly. But yeah, that should be the whole idea, that we are remembering Krishna all the time. Going out, we are seeing the sky, we can remember Krishna. We are seeing the beautiful lakes, water, trees, we can remember Krishna. And gentle air touches our skin, we can remember this is air coming, touching Krishna's body, or Srimati Radha's body, and then coming to us, from his flute, right? So like that, any musical sounds we hear from the nature, from birds chirping, thus we can remember that this is coming from the spiritual world. So just absorbing our consciousness as much as possible, and by practice, slowly, we keep practicing, and I think that will make our life perfect. Yes, thank you, Prabhu. Okay, thank you all for joining. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Jai Shri Radhe Shyam Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari Hari Bol. Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji,
Krishna.
Hare
for your wonderful
Krishna.
session.